Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Boho again, and I am joined by Henchy, or Pat, as you guys know.
What's going on, guys?
Today, we're going to be going over the top tier ADC and support picks for patch 7.2. To start it off, we're going to be talking about supports. So, for my S tier picks, I put in Malzahar, Zyra, and Karma. Would you agree with those, Pat?
Hell yeah. Those are like three supports that you can pick pretty much any game, any matchup,
Yeah.
and they're going to do pretty well regardless of who they're up against or who your team comp is.
Yeah. I mean, like, what? Yeah, that pretty much just like that's what defines an S tier pick for me. Is something that you can pick into like anything, and it'll be fine because like that pick is just so strong. So, moving on down to the A tier, I put Lulu, Nami, Janna, and Brand. Um, Pretty much things that are viable most of the time. They're definitely better in some situations than others, for sure. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I think like Lulu is good into Miles, good into Zyra, and then Brand is like this is like a solo queue patch tier list, so I feel like he can just like 1v2 lanes, and if you're good at him, and like he can just be a really strong pick, a lot of poke, like good CC and stuff, a lot of
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah. I just want to clarify that these are solo Q picks. Like you may not even see any Brand in LCS, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good pick in solo Q. And there may be some picks that you see in LCS that we don't have as highly like ranked as they do on their priorities because solo Q is a completely different fucking entity from like LCS play, like super like high level play. Like it's a lot different.
Yeah, it's way different.
So moving down to tier B, I put Morgana, Bard, Braum, Leona, Alistar, Soraka, Sona, and Tom Kench. These are all like not optimal picks, but can work in some situations. Like for example, Morgana can work, um, and it kind of just comes down to if you can hit the pins, and if you're just really good with her, then I mean, it can work, but it's just and also with Bard, if you're a really really good Bard player, then it can be like an A or even an S tier pick. It just kind of like it comes down to your abilities, but the S
Yeah,
and
these
A,
picks are just more like I'd say it's more like niche picks or like stuff that's just not going to be good in every situation, and like stuff like a lot of the melee supports aren't that good because everyone's just picking range supports nowadays to win lane, and if you pick a melee support, you kind of get fucked in the early level.
mm-hmm,
So if you can make it through that, they can still be good, but the early laning is so important that it's the
yeah,
range supports are a lot better.
yeah. All right, and then for my last little section of this, I have my niche picks and my like situational picks. So for this, I just put Blitzcrank and MF. Like if you're like a god Blitzcrank, it can work. Um, then you can make it like an S tier pick if you're that good with Blitzcrank. And
Yeah,
then like with Misfortune, I would say like that pick can technically be like an S tier if it goes into like the right bottom lane. Like if you have a good ADC that synergizes well with MF, like Ash or Jin, and then like you're picking into like a Zyra lane or a Malzahar lane, like you're gonna do pretty well. You're gonna have some success.
yeah, like especially with the Blitzcrank pick, like when I play solo queue and I get autofilled to support, I pretty much always pick Blitz because he's so fucking cheese. And if you can land hooks and you know how to play the champion correctly, he can just literally solo carry games. Like you just get early mobies and you just roam mid and stuff like that. So that's what I play on my solo queue account when I get autofilled because I can land hooks and it's super fucking cheese and
Yeah.
so tilting to play against.
Yep, for sure. I hate playing against good Blitzcranks. It's like, oh yeah. All right, so let's move on to the ADC picks. I don't know. By the way, we both don't even know what we had down, so I'll like this will be my first time hearing what he has for his S tier and his A tier and his B tier. Good.
So for my S tier, I have Varus and Jin.
Mm-hmm.
These two picks are pretty much good in any situation. Even though they are mobile, they have a ton of utility for their team and a lot of carry potential. For like LCS or something, you'd probably definitely have Ashe on S tier, but I don't think Ashe is S tier for solo queue, just because of her like pretty low damage and just so much utility that if you're looking
Yeah,
to actually carry games, it's not a great pick.
I feel like with Ash, you like she is a really good champion in like pro play, because you need a lot more coordination to make her work than like whenever you're in solo queue like that. I think that's why Varus works. You don't need as much coordination is the thing, and then like with Ashe you need a lot more, and she's also immobile. Like them being immobile doesn't have anything to do with like them not being good in solo queue. It's like more or less about like just how much do you have to play around your team for it to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then for A tier, I'd go into Ezreal, Caitlyn, and then I put Ashe on the A tier. So the reason I have these champs for A tier is like you can still pretty much pick them any game. They're just like really safe picks, and
Yep.
if you don't play much ADC or you just looking to get through lane phase
Yep.
and carry later,
Yeah, dude.
these are the champs you want to play.
Yeah, I just play Ezreal. Like whenever I get autofilled ADC, I'm like, okay, my goal here is to not fucking end. And, and like at 20 minutes or like 25 minutes I'll have my mirror man and actually start doing some damage, and then it's like, okay, I'm super slippery. I can't really mess this up too badly. Like, carry me, team.
Yeah, Ezreal's my favorite just because like if you're getting fucked in lane, like you just back, you get tier, and you can just farm pretty much no matter what. Even if you're already like 0-2 or whatever, like you can farm and not die no matter what with Ezreal. With Caitlyn, you can be like a lane bully, but like if you're not experienced ADC player, you can still play defensively. And then Ashe, you can just have that utility and like still pretty good scaling, and it's an alright pick for solo queue.
Yep.
So we went to B tier. Like the tier lists start to get a little bit longer as I go down. So for this one, I have Lucian, Vayne, Sivir, Kalista, Draven. Basically like just mostly like snowbally picks, like stuff that's like I'm gonna snowball or I'm gonna end basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Like Kalista, Draven, like if you don't snowball, you're fucked. Like Draven, if you don't get first blood, you're fucked. Or like not first blood, but if you don't cash in before you die,
you gotta have like ganks down there, otherwise like that chance. Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Draven, if you don't cash in your stacks before you die, then you're really susceptible to just like not getting enough gold and not being useful. But like a good Draven player will cash in and like get a double kill in his lane and then snowball the game. So it's just like it's not a pick you can play every game. It's something that you need a lot of practice on, but can be good.
Yeah, I think he's like pretty hard mechanically, like, and you really got to practice him a lot, like you said, to be like good on him. And then also I feel like you're gonna need like a gank early game, like after you get like a bunch of stacks of adoration, and you just gotta like you gotta straight up get a kill, and then if that happens, then that pick is good. Like then you can like just start snowballing like crazy. Like that champ's like crazy good. So same thing with Kalista, dude. Like if you can just get ahead, like that champion is so good, and so like it's such a good pick. But it's like it relies so hard on like getting a kill early. And if you're playing against a really safe bottom lane, like there's a good chance that you won't get that kill, and then like you'll just get outscaled.
Yeah. So for like Lucian's kind of falls into that category as well, which is just like he's a pretty snowbally champion, and like if you get ahead, you can really hard carry. But if you get behind, it just feels so bad, and like there's not much room to like scale into late.
Yeah.
He used to be like S tier, but now with all the nerfs and stuff, he's just not as good as he used to be.
He's been nerfed so many times for sure. And then like Lucian just altogether right now, I feel is like just actually a pretty shitty champion. Like even if he does get ahead, I still feel like it's hard to like carry his lead on. Like I don't know. Like even like he was like I don't know. I think it's pretty shit like right now just because of all the nerfs.
Yeah. And then I threw Sivir in there because he's like pretty utility, like pretty good scaling, but like I don't know, she can kind of get fucked by a lot of champions.
She's pretty whatever, I think.
So for the bottom seats here, bottom of the barrel, this is pretty much just like late game scaling ADCs that will get fucked in lane. So Jinx, Trist, Twitch, and Kog'Maw. No one really plays Kog'Maw, but the other three are just like Twitch used to be a lot better. You got a lot of nerfs. Like you just have to have a lot of items, and solo queue right now, it just feels so accelerated, and that these champions where you just need like 3 items to carry, like you can get there. It's good.
You just don't ever feel like you can get to that point without just like you know like you need like a miracle to happen bottom lane for you to like get like just started in the game, and then it's like you just gotta have a lot of good stuff happen. I feel you on that. That's definitely
like you just don't really feel in control of like, oh, I can have a big impact like pre 20 minutes, whereas like the S and A tier champions, like I feel like you can, maybe not as much Caitlyn, but the champs that just have a late game power are maybe better for competitive, but in solo queue it's just not really fun to play in my opinion.
Yep. Do you have any other picks on there, or is that it for you?
That's it for me. But
So
like, yeah, once again, these are just like solo queue picks, and like you can play whatever champion that if you're really good at it, you can make it work. But
yeah.
in general, and like talking win rates, talking high elo solo queue, this is the champions that you're gonna see, and these are the champions that you're gonna succeed with, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I rank my tiers like based on like win rates and like I mean just how I feel like relatively how like impactful that the champion's going to be on the game.
Yeah,
So I mean these are probably your best bets to win games in solo queue for sure. So
yeah,
thanks for coming once again, Pat.
yeah. No worries, man.
Always a pleasure to have you on here, and thanks for watching,
Oh yeah.
guys. If you guys have anything to say in the comments, then go ahead and drop them. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.